Have you ever had one of those moments, a sudden gut feeling that just, well, turned out to be absolutely spot on?
Yeah.
Or maybe a flash of insight, that just clicked and solved a problem you'd been wrestling with for ages?
Mhm.
That feeling, that inner knowing, that's exactly what we're plunging into today.
Exactly. This deep dive is all about intuition. We're looking at what it is, where those mysterious insights really come from,
Right.
and probably most importantly, how you can actually cultivate it, how you can use it as a really powerful tool in your life. Often overlooked, I think.
Definitely. And our guide for this whole journey is this fascinating report. It's called The Architecture of Inner Knowing.
It's a great title.
Isn't it? And it's super comprehensive. It pulls together perspectives from, well, all over cognitive science, philosophy, neurobiology, even spiritual traditions.
So it gives this really rounded view.
Exactly. A holistic and kind of actionable framework for understanding intuition.
And our mission today really is to cut through all the noise and just pull out the most important nuggets from this material.
The good stuff.
Yeah, give you a genuine shortcut to being well-informed about something that's, well, it's as ancient as human consciousness itself,
Wow.
but it's as immediate as a hunch you might get, right now.
So hopefully you're going to walk away with some surprising facts, maybe, and definitely some practical insights.
That's the plan.
Okay, let's unpack this right from the top then. Before we even get into developing it, what is intuition exactly? It feels like one of those words we all use.
Okay.
But if someone actually pushed you to define it clearly, maybe a bit tricky.
It is tricky, and it's interesting that the word intuition actually comes from Latin, the verb tuere. It means to look at or watch over.
Huh, watch over.
Yeah, so it instantly suggests this idea of like an inner seeing
Wow.
or being guided by some kind of internal guardian. But in, simpler terms, intuition is basically a form of knowing that just arrives. It pops up without you consciously thinking through all the steps.
Right, it's not like logic.
No, not at all. Its key characteristics are that it's rapid, it feels effortless, it's automatic, and usually you can't quite control when it pops up.
It just appears.
An insight simply appears, yeah. And its complex workings are hidden from your conscious mind.
Okay, that makes sense. So if it's not conscious reasoning, how is it different from, say, instinct? Because people often use those words almost interchangeably.
That's a really great question, and it's a crucial distinction to make. Think of instinct as more like an innate, often species-wide tendency toward a specific behavior.
Like fight or flight.
Exactly, or a bird building a nest. It's hardwired behavior. Intuition, though, is more of a cognitive and affective event. It's that gut feeling, the hunch, a direct sense of knowing something.
So one drives action, the other informs thought.
Precisely. While instinct drives behavior, intuition informs your beliefs and judgments. It's more about what you know or feel is true, rather than an automatic physical reaction.
That clarifies it perfectly. Okay, so what's really fascinating here is how all these different fields, science, philosophy, even spirituality, have tried to get a handle on this very human experience. Let's dig into how cognitive science sees it first.
Right, so from a cognitive science angle, intuition isn't some, mystical force. It's seen as a natural, observable mental function, basically a form of non-analytical thought.
Okay.
The big idea here is something called the dual process theory. Imagine your mind has two gears, or systems.
System 1 and System 2.
You got it. System 1 is super fast, automatic, associative, effortless. It just knows. That's where intuition lives.
The quick one.
The quick one. Then there's System 2. That's your slower, analytical, effortful, conscious thinking, like when you're deliberately working through a problem.
Right, doing your taxes.
Exactly. So intuition is essentially System 1's output. It delivers an answer before System 2 even gets going.
So it's like our brain is doing all this incredible stuff in the background, processing things we aren't even aware of.
Precisely. The core mechanism they talk about is unconscious situational pattern recognition.
Okay, break that down.
So your brain is constantly, and I mean constantly, processing this immense amount of data. Subtle cues from the environment, your past experiences, memories, associations, far more than your conscious mind could ever handle.
Right.
Your non-conscious mind synthesizes all this, recognizes a meaningful pattern, and then delivers this holistic conclusion, this insight to your conscious mind, usually as a feeling or a hunch.
Which is why it feels so right, but you can't explain why.
Exactly. You can't articulate the steps because you weren't consciously aware of them. Think of, say, an expert firefighter who just knows a building is about to collapse seconds before it happens.
Wow, not based on conscious calculation.
Right. The brain has processed thousands of subtle cues from past fires, the sound, the smoke, the heat patterns, and recognizes this critical danger pattern instantly. That's expert intuition.
And that explains why it gets stronger with experience in a certain area.
Absolutely. It's often domain specific.
Hmm.
Doctors, chess players, musicians, they develop strong intuition in their field
Yeah.
through massive amounts of practice, building up that internal database of patterns.
That's fascinating. But this isn't just a modern scientific idea, is it? Philosophers were talking about this way back.
Oh, long before brain scans.
Hmm.
Philosophers have been deeply intrigued by intuition for centuries, and often they held it in really high regard, sometimes even seeing it as a superior mode of knowing compared to just logic.
Really? Superior.
Yeah, look at the ancient Greeks. They distinguished between dianoia, that's analytical, step-by-step thought, and noesis. Noesis was this immediate, direct, holistic kind of knowing.
Like a direct download.
Kind of, yeah.
Yeah.
Plato, for example, saw intuition, or noesis, as key to grasping fundamental truths, the forms. He even called it the act of reason, resulting from self-knowledge. Pretty profound.
That is profound. What about some of the more modern thinkers? Did they pick up on this?
Absolutely. Fast forward a bit, you get Immanuel Kant. He made a really interesting distinction. He talked about empirical intuition, basically, the raw data from our senses, but also pure intuition.
Pure intuition.
Yeah, things like our fundamental grasp of space and time. He argued these aren't learned from experience. They're like the a priori framework, the underlying structure our mind uses to make sense of any experience at all. We intuit them.
So intuition is like the operating system for our perception.
That's a great way to put it.
Yeah.
Then you have Henri Bergson. He argued that intuition could grasp the true, continuous flow of reality, what he called duration, which our intellect, he thought, chops up into static moments. For him, intuition perceived life's creative force, the élan vital,
So intellect analyzes intuition experiences directly.
something like that. And then there's Edmund Husserl, the founder of phenomenology. He placed intuition right at the center of conscious experience. He talked about perceptual intuition, directly grasping things through our senses, and eidetic intuition, grasping the universal essence of things.
Okay, so if I'm getting the philosophical gist here, they're basically saying that even our most rigorous logic, at its very foundation, has to rest on something we just grasp intuitively.
You've nailed it. That's the core philosophical argument. Think about it. The fundamental axioms of geometry, or the basic rules of logic, you can't prove them using simpler logic.
Right, they're starting points.
Exactly. You have to grasp them intuitively as self-evident. So in this view, reason isn't the opposite of intuition. It's actually made possible by intuition. It's the foundation logic is built upon.
That really flips the usual hierarchy on its head. Okay, so philosophy gives it this deeper spec. What does neuroscience tell us? Where in the brain is all this happening?
Well, neuroscience confirms it's not in one single intuition spot. It's more like a distributed network, involving several key brain areas working together.
Okay, like which ones?
The right hemisphere often gets mentioned. It's generally associated more with holistic processing, nonverbal stuff, creativity, skills linked to intuitive thinking.
Makes sense.
Then there's a really crucial area called the insula. The insula is critical for what scientists call interoception.
Interoception, sensing your internal state.
Exactly. It's your brain's sense of your body's physiological condition, your heart rate, your breathing, that tightness in your stomach, those classic gut feelings. The insula integrates these signals.
So it's the translator for the body's wisdom.
That's a perfect way to think about it. It's key for that felt sense component of intuition. We also see the default mode network, or DMN, involved.
I've heard of that. Isn't that active when your mind is wandering?
Precisely. When you're daydreaming, reflecting, not focused on an external task, this suggests that intuition might actually bubble up from this background processing when the conscious mind takes a break.
Uh-huh. Like shower thoughts.
Exactly like shower thoughts. And then there's the salience network, which seems to help identify which of these internal signals are important, bringing the significant intuitive hits out from all the background mental noise.
Okay, interesting network. But you mentioned gut feelings. What about the actual gut?
Right, this is huge, the gut-brain axis. There's this constant two-way communication between your brain and your enteric nervous system, the complex network of nerves in your gut, often called the second brain.
The second brain.
Yeah. So that classic gut feeling isn't just a metaphor, it's a physiological reality rooted in this extensive dialogue.
Oh.
It really drives home how embodied intuition is.
So listening to your body is literally listening to a form of intelligence.
Absolutely. And research suggests people who have strong interoceptive awareness, people who are really tuned into their body's signals, are often better at recognizing and trusting these intuitive nudges.
Okay, that connects a lot of dots. Now, for many people, intuition feels like it goes even beyond brain circuits or philosophical ideas. There's often a spiritual or maybe a transpersonal dimension mentioned.
Yes, absolutely. And spiritual or transpersonal philosophies often view intuition as something more like a bridge to unseen realms, maybe, or a tool for deep self-discovery.
Accessing wisdom beyond just personal experience.
Exactly. Accessing something deeper. There's often this idea of intuition having two faces.
Two faces. Okay.
On one hand, there's the expert face.
Mm.
This aligns pretty well with cognitive science. It's the voice of your own accumulated experiences, your learning, all processed non-consciously. It draws from your personal unconscious.
Like the firefighter example, based on their own history.
Perfect. That's the expert face.
Okay.
But then there's the mystic face. This is described more as the voice of one's spirit, or maybe the soul, connecting to a source of knowledge that transcends the individual.
Like Jung's collective unconscious.
Exactly like Jung's collective unconscious, or maybe Rupert Sheldrake's morphogenic fields. It's the idea of tapping into a wider field of information. This is more like the sixth sense, knowing something you couldn't possibly know from personal experience alone. It relies more on faith, openness.
Knowing the unknowable.
You could put it that way. Rudolf Steiner called this higher form free spiritual activity. The key thing, though, is that these two faces aren't necessarily contradictory.
They can coexist.
Yeah, think of it as a continuum of non-conscious knowing. It ranges from processing your personal history all the way to potentially accessing collective human history, or even beyond. It gives us a really rich, comprehensive model.
Okay, that's a fantastic overview of what intuition is from all these angles. So let's shift gears. What does this all mean for you listening right now? Why should someone actually invest time and effort in cultivating this? What are the real-world benefits?
Right. This is where it gets really practical. The bottom line is that intuitive intelligence is emerging as a truly critical skill for navigating complexity, for fostering innovation, and honestly, just for living a more authentic, optimized life.
How so? Where do we see the advantage?
Well, think about decision-making. In situations that are uncertain, complex, maybe time-pressured, where you just don't have all the data, intuition provides a massive strategic advantage. Purely analytical methods can get stuck.
Especially in business, I imagine.
Hugely. There was a survey of CEOs, something like 85% confirmed intuition was central to their big decisions. Leaders use it to sense subtle market shifts, to gauge potential partners, to make those bold strategic moves, even with incomplete information. It leads to faster, more agile choices.
Wow, 85%. That's not marginal.
Not at all. And think about high-stakes professions. Crisis managers, ER doctors, even stockbrokers. For them, expert intuition isn't just nice to have, it's a necessity. It allows those rapid, high-quality judgments based on years of embedded, non-conscious knowledge.
Okay, big decisions, high stakes. What about just everyday life?
The value extends right down to your daily experience. Think about all those little micro-intuitions. Choosing the right checkout line, somehow avoiding that sudden traffic jam, knowing instinctively how to respond in a tricky conversation.
Yeah, those little nudges.
Exactly. Those small intuitive hits accumulate. They genuinely improve the quality of your day-to-day experience. It optimizes mental energy.
It sounds like intuition gives us a real practical edge then. Does it also play a role in bigger, more creative breakthroughs, those aha moments?
Oh, there's a deep, almost symbiotic relationship there. You could say intuition and creativity are like two sides of the same coin. They both involve nonlinear associative thought.
How does that work?
Well, think about history's great breakthroughs, scientific discoveries, artistic innovations. So many are attributed to that intuitive flash, that sudden insight that connected the dots in a new way.
The apple falling on Newton's head sort of thing. Maybe apocryphal, but the idea.
Exactly the idea. The cognitive mechanisms seem very similar. It's that non-conscious mind synthesizing disparate bits of information into a surprising new whole. Intuition is often the catalyst, providing that aha moment, that leap that analysis alone couldn't make.
So it helps generate ideas.
It plays a role in both phases, actually. In idea generation, intuition synthetically sparks those novel possibilities. But it also helps in idea evaluation, where that expert intuition can quickly assess the potential or feasibility of a new idea.
Okay, so practical edge, creative fuel. What about the more personal side? You mentioned authenticity.
Yes, and this is perhaps the most profound benefit. Cultivating intuition really is an inward journey. It's a path toward deeper self-knowledge, towards living more authentically, finding more meaning, like Viktor Frankl talked about with purpose.
How does intuition help with that?
It acts like a direct line to your deeper self. It helps uncover hidden truths, maybe patterns you weren't aware of, desires you've suppressed, sometimes even stuff inherited from that collective unconscious idea. Many people describe the feeling as connecting with their highest self or inner wisdom.
So listening to it helps you make choices aligned with who you really are.
Exactly. By learning to trust that inner guidance, you can make choices big and small that resonate more deeply with your core values and your true nature. This fosters a powerful sense of authenticity, purpose, confidence. It's a way of, coming home to oneself in a world that often pulls us away.
That sounds incredibly valuable. And how does all this connect to our general well-being? Can developing intuition actually make us healthier?
It absolutely can. There's a strong link.
Yeah.
Intuitive development seems connected to improvements in physical, mental, and emotional health. It creates a kind of virtuous cycle.
How so?
Well, for one, developing intuitive awareness can significantly reduce stress. If you're more attuned to subtle inner signals, you can often spot potential problems in your body, in your relationships, at work before they blow up.
Catching things early.
Exactly. It also fosters a clearer, more immediate awareness of your internal state, your emotions, your needs. This allows for healthier processing and release rather than letting things fester.
And the practices themselves.
Right. The very exercises we use to cultivate intuition, things like meditation, mindfulness, breath work, grounding, these are scientifically proven stress reducers. They calm the nervous system, improve focus. So there's this amazing synergy. The journey towards better intuition is a journey towards better holistic health. It integrates mind and body.
Okay, you've made a powerful case for why we should develop intuition. Now for the big question, the how. How do we actually start cultivating this amazing faculty? Where does someone begin?
Right. Well, the development of intuition, really like any skill, boils down to consistent, intentional practice. It's not about forcing insights to happen.
You can't just summon an aha moment.
Exactly. It's more about creating the right internal conditions of quiet, openness, and receptivity that allow insights to emerge naturally.
And you mentioned different channels.
Yes, that's a key principle. Identifying your dominant intuitive channels. Some people get intuition primarily as thoughts, that just knowing feeling, sometimes called claircognizance. Others feel it more emotionally, clairsentience.
More physically.
Or physically, yeah.
Yeah.
Sensations in the body.
Mm.
Or some people see images or visions, clairvoyance. Experimenting helps you figure out your natural strengths, and then you can work on strengthening your full capacity across all channels.
Okay, so where's the starting point? What are some absolute foundational practices?
Before jumping into specific techniques, you need the foundation. First, cultivating stillness and openness. This can be super simple. Just dedicate maybe 5 minutes a day to sitting quietly. No agenda. Just observe your thoughts without getting hooked by them.
Creating mental space.
Precisely. And cultivating an open mind is crucial, being receptive to whatever comes up without judging it or having preconceived ideas. Second, mindfulness. This is probably the single most important skill.
Why mindfulness?
Because it trains your attention on the present moment. This helps you learn to distinguish those subtle, intuitive signals from all the background mental noise like anxiety, wishful thinking, or that inner critic.
Got it. And third?
Third, grounding and embodiment, because as we discussed, intuition is deeply embodied. So practice being present in your body. Simple visualizations work well. Imagine roots growing from your feet into the earth, feeling stable.
Connecting to the earth.
Yeah. Or breath work. Just taking a few deep, slow breaths instantly calms the nervous system and increases self-awareness. Another easy one. Place one hand on your heart, one on your belly. Breathe deeply and just let your attention drop from your head down into your body's feeling center.
Simple but effective. Okay, so once we're grounded, how can we use our minds more contemplatively to access deeper insights?
Right, these are mental and contemplative exercises using the mind in a receptive way. Meditation is obviously a cornerstone. Quieting the conscious chatter creates that receptive state, often linked to alpha brainwaves, which are great for creativity and insight.
Can you meditate on something specific for intuition?
Absolutely. You can gently hold a question or a personal issue in your awareness during meditation and just listen for that still, small voice within. Then there's dream work. Dreams are such a powerful gateway to the subconscious.
How do you work with dreams effectively?
Keep a dream journal right by your bed. First thing upon waking, jot down anything you remember, images, feelings, symbols, characters. Don't analyze yet, just capture it.
Capture the raw material.
Exactly. You can also set an intention before sleep. Mentally ask your subconscious or your intuition for guidance on a specific problem or question through your dreams. See what comes up.
I love that idea. What else for the mind?
Journaling is incredibly potent. It acts like a bridge to the intuitive mind. One simple way is reflective journaling. Keep an intuition journal.
Hmm.
Record hunches, gut feelings, synchronicities as they happen. Later, go back and note whether they were accurate. This builds trust.
Seeing the evidence.
Yeah. Another powerful technique is automatic writing. This is designed to bypass your conscious filter.
How does that work?
You pose a question, then you just start writing continuously, quickly, without stopping to think, judge, or edit. Let the words flow, even if it seems like nonsense. Often, really valuable insights, little gems, will emerge from that stream of consciousness.
Letting the subconscious speak.
Exactly. You can also use your journal for direct questioning. Write down a clear question about something you're grappling with, then quiet your mind and record any answers, feelings, images, or words that arise in response.
Like having a dialogue with your intuition.
Precisely.
Okay, beyond the mind, you emphasize the body. What are some specific somatic or body-based and sensory exercises we can try?
Yeah, these are all about developing that interoception we talked about, making the body a finely tuned instrument for intuitive information. A classic practice is the body scan.
Like in mindfulness meditation.
Exactly. You systematically bring your attention to each part of your body from toes to head, just noticing any sensations, warmth, tingling, tension, ease without judgment. This builds that detailed body awareness.
Fine-tuning the receiver.
Right. Then you apply this with gut feeling attunement. When you're facing a choice, even a small one, pause. Turn your attention inward, specifically to your gut area, your chest, your throat. Notice the physical reactions, their tightness, relaxation, openness, queasiness. Learn to trust that physical yes-no signal.
That primary physical response.
It's often incredibly accurate. Then there's something a bit different. Psychometry.
Psychometry, sensing information from objects.
Yeah, exactly. It sounds a bit out there, but it's a great practice for tuning into subtle energies. Have a friend give you an object that's personally significant to them, like a piece of jewelry or a photo.
Okay, then what?
Hold the object. Close your eyes. Quiet your mind. Just be open and notice any impressions that come to you. Images, feelings, words, maybe even a sense of temperature or a brief story.
What if nothing comes?
Here's the key. Adopt a playful attitude. If nothing comes, literally pretend to make up a story about the object. This often bypasses the logical mind and opens the intuitive channel. Afterwards, share your impressions with your friend and see if anything resonates. It's practice, not performance.
Playful practice, I like that.
And a related exercise is just reading vibrations, generally tuning into the subtle, energetic quality of people and places. Notice how the feeling, the vibe changes as you walk into different rooms or encounter different people. Trust that first impression.
Developing energetic sensitivity. Okay.
Yeah.
Are there ways to use external tools or maybe even interactions with others to help spark intuition?
Absolutely. For symbolic and associative exercises, things like working with tarot or oracle cards can be fantastic intuitive tools.
Not for predicting the future, though.
No, not necessarily. Think of them more as mirrors reflecting your own inner wisdom or highlighting subconscious dynamics. The process is key. Hold a question, pull some cards, and first, just look at the images. Notice your immediate spontaneous reaction, feelings, stories, words that pop into your head.
Trust the first hit.
Exactly. Journal those initial impressions. Then maybe you consult a guidebook for additional layers of meaning, but prioritize your own intuitive associations. Another way is symbol interpretation. Just start paying more attention to recurring symbols in your daily life, maybe an animal you keep seeing, or a particular shape in the clouds. Ask your intuition, what message might this hold for me?
Becoming fluent in symbolic language.
Yeah, the language of the subconscious. And for interactive exercises, you could try partnered tuning in.
Sounds intriguing, like telepathy practice.
Sort of. Two people sit quietly, maybe meditate for a few minutes. One person decides to mentally send something simple, like a color, an object, or a feeling. The other person just remains open to receive any impressions. Then you compare notes. It's fun and can be surprisingly revealing.
Lowers the pressure, too, doing it with someone else.
Definitely. And that leads to intuition games. Framing practice as a game makes it light and playful. Try who's calling. When your phone rings, pause before looking. Take a breath. Guess who it might be. See how often you're right.
Simple, daily practice.
Or two truths and a lie. Have a partner write down 2 true statements about themselves and 1 lie. Read them, then try to feel or sense which one is the lie rather than logically deduce it. Another is what's in the bag. A friend puts an unknown object in a bag. You hold the bag, tune in, maybe meditate on it, and write down your impressions of the contents before the reveal.
Making it fun.
Exactly. And that playful element is crucial. Across almost all these exercises, the instructions emphasize playful practice, curiosity, experimentation, not taking it too seriously, avoiding overthinking. That relaxed, open state is really where intuition thrives.
This all sounds incredibly beneficial, truly. But, no journey is without its bumps in the road. What are the common challenges or pitfalls? Are there imposters of intuition we need to watch out for?
Ah, yes. This is arguably the most critical part of the whole process, developing discernment. It's absolutely not about blindly following every single hunch or feeling that pops into your head.
That can be disastrous.
It could. The biggest challenge is learning to distinguish genuine intuition from other mental and emotional states that can feel similar but lead you astray. Neuroscientist Joel Pearson actually uses the term misintuition.
Misintuition.
Yeah, it's when you mistake things like paranoia, cognitive biases, or just strong emotional reactions for real intuition. And that, obviously, can lead to poor decisions.
So what are the main imposters to look out for?
Key ones include emotional thinking. When you're highly emotional, stressed, scared, super excited, your judgment can be compromised. A strong feeling might just be a projection of that intense emotion, not a clear intuitive signal.
Right. Fear can feel like a warning.
Exactly. Then there are cognitive biases.
Right.
These are those systematic errors in thinking our brains are prone to, like confirmation bias, seeking out info that confirms what we already believe, or seeing patterns in random data. We can easily mistake these biases for insights.
Our brain tricking us.
Pretty much. Also, watch out for wishful thinking and paranoia, mistaking your strong hopes or deep fears for objective guidance. And finally, simple impulses and addiction, those compelling urges that drive behavior but lack the nuanced, calm knowing of true intuition.
Okay, that's a lot to potentially confuse it with. How on earth do we tell the difference in the moment? Is there a quick way to check?
There is a helpful framework. Pearson offers the SMILE framework as a quick reality check for a gut feeling.
Smile.
S is for self-awareness. Check your emotional state. Are you calm and centered or stressed, upset, overly excited? Be cautious if your emotions are running high.
Got it. Yeah.
M is for mastery. Do you actually have significant experience or expertise in this particular area? You can't really rely on expert intuition for something completely new to you.
Makes sense.
I is for impulses and addiction. Does this feeling feel like a deep, calm knowing, or is it more like a compulsive urge, a craving, or an immediate gratification impulse?
Okay. Oh.
L is for low probability. Is the gut feeling about something statistically very unlikely to happen? Our brains are notoriously bad at judging probability intuitively, so be skeptical of intuitions about winning the lottery, for example.
Right. And E.
E is for environment. Is the situation or context familiar and relatively stable or predictable? Intuition works best in environments where patterns actually exist and can be learned consciously or unconsciously. It's less reliable in totally chaotic or novel situations.
Smile lead. That's a really useful checklist. Self-awareness, mastery, impulses, low probability, environment.
Exactly. And it highlights the importance of things like emotional intelligence. Being able to understand and manage your own emotions is key to discerning valid feelings from raw emotional reactions.
Huh.
And mindfulness, again, builds that self-awareness needed to even notice the difference.
Okay, so beyond misinterpreting the signals themselves, what are the common personal barriers? What stops people from developing their intuition even if they want to?
Oh, there's several common psychological roadblocks. Probably the biggest is self-doubt and lack of trust. That nagging inner critic that just dismisses hunches as silly or just imagination.
How do you overcome that?
Consistent practice is key, especially combined with tracking your results, like in that intuition journal we talked about. When you start seeing objective evidence that your hunches were actually accurate, it builds the confidence your rational mind needs to start trusting.
Seeing is believing for the logical part of it.
Exactly. Another big one is fear. Fear of the unknown, fear of being wrong. Sometimes even fear of what insights might reveal about yourself or a situation that you'd rather not face.
That can be powerful.
It can.
Yeah.
The antidote here is usually starting small, with low-stakes, playful exercises. Make it safe to be wrong. And leaning on grounding and self-care practices helps manage any anxiety that comes up. Patience is really important.
Okay. What else?
Societal and educational conditioning is a huge factor, especially in Western cultures. We're often taught from a young age to prioritize logic and analysis and to dismiss intuition as unreliable, maybe even woo-woo.
The rationalist bias.
Right. Overcoming this requires conscious, intentional effort to practice and value intuition in your own life, even if people around you are skeptical. And finally, there's the habit of overriding with logic.
Immediately analyzing it away.
Yes. The moment an intuitive feeling arises, the habit is to immediately jump in with the analytical mind, demanding proof, picking it apart before it even has a chance to register fully.
How do you stop doing that?
Mindfulness helps you learn to just sit with a feeling, observe it, without needing to immediately analyze or judge it. And those exercises that emphasize speed and spontaneity, like automatic writing, are designed specifically to bypass that immediate logical censor.
Get it out before the critic jumps in.
Exactly.
So listening to all this, the ultimate goal clearly isn't to ditch logic and just run on feelings. It's about blending them, right? How do we achieve that kind of harmonious integration?
That's precisely it. True wisdom, effective decision-making, it really emerges from synthesizing all our human faculties. Decisions based solely on intuition can be flaky, and decisions based solely on logic can lack heart or miss crucial context. The goal is integration.
Is there a model for thinking about this integration?
A really useful one is the concept of the three brains alliance: the head, the heart, and the gut.
Head, heart, and gut. Okay.
The head represents your logical, analytical brain. It asks, what are the facts? What makes the most rational sense?
Standard logical processing.
Right. The heart represents your emotional intelligence, your empathy, your values. It asks, how does this feel? What aligns with my core values? What's the impact on others?
The emotional and ethical dimension.
Yes. And the gut represents that deep, non-conscious knowing your intuition. It asks, what does my deepest self know to be true here, beyond the facts and feelings?
That core knowing.
Exactly. So for truly holistic decision-making, you consciously engage each one. First, gather the facts, analyze them with your head. Second, check in with your heart. Consider the emotional landscape, your values. Third, quiet your mind and deliberately listen for that nonverbal signal from your gut.
And when they all align.
When head, heart, and gut all give you a yes, or at least aren't sending up red flags, you can proceed with much greater confidence and clarity. If there's a conflict, say your head says yes, but your gut screams no. That's a signal to pause, investigate further, maybe seek more information or perspective.
Use the conflict as data.
Use the conflict as valuable data. And it's also crucial, especially in professional or scientific settings, to maintain intellectual honesty. Intuition is fantastic for forming hypotheses, for generating possibilities,
But not for proving them.
but not necessarily for justifying claims on its own. An intuitive insight might point you in a brilliant direction, but it then usually needs to be tested, validated, and supported with evidence that can be shared and examined objectively.
Balancing inner knowing with outer validation.
That's the sweet spot.
Wow. What a journey into something so fundamentally human. It really feels like intuition is far, far more than just some mysterious sixth sense. It's coming across as a natural, trainable capacity we all have.
It absolutely is. I think this deep dive really shows us that intuition is an essential component of holistic intelligence. It's deeply rooted in, non-conscious processing, our embodied awareness, and fundamentally a receptivity to information that goes beyond what our analytical mind can grasp alone.
And I liked that paradox you mentioned earlier.
Ah, yes, the productive paradox in developing it.
Yeah.
On one hand, deep expertise and experience build that expert phase of intuition, the pattern recognition bit.
Right.
But on the other hand, cultivating a beginner's mind, that state of open, curious, almost naive receptivity, is key for accessing the mystic phase, those insights that seem to come from beyond personal experience.
So they're not contradictory.
Not at all. They're complementary paths to deeper wisdom. You need both the database of experience and the openness to the unexpected.
And it feels like in a world that's just getting more complex, more volatile, certainly more saturated with information, this ability to access a deeper mode of knowing isn't just nice anymore. It's becoming vital.
I truly believe it is. Cultivating what we might call intuitive intelligence offers more than just that strategic edge in decisions or a boost to creativity. It's really a pathway to greater overall well-being and, honestly, a more profound sense of meaning and connection to yourself and to the world around you.
So reflecting on all this, what does it really mean for you listening right now?
I think it means that by consciously learning to foster this balanced alliance between your head, your heart, and your gut, you can navigate the complexities of the future not just with greater intelligence, but with significantly greater wisdom, resilience, and confidence.
A powerful takeaway.
So maybe this week we just encourage you to pay a little more attention. Notice those subtle nudges, those quiet feelings from within. See what happens when you start, even tentatively, trusting your inner GPS just a little bit more.